project, and I was, we all had to work for the government. You know, I was a student, but we had to give up the books and we had to go make the, you know, the guns and so on and so forth for the war effort. So where I had to go to work was a government printing shop. So it was a beautiful day like this, 8:15 a.m. And I saw the B-29 flying. And I looked and I recognized the sound, the way the B-29 makes. And so I thought it was just, how do you pronounce the reconnaissance?
Reconnaissance. Reconnaissance.
Yeah, reconnaissance plane, because they came many times before. It's only one plane, so I said to myself, oh, here it is again. But suddenly the big flash came and everything started falling down. So in Japanese we call it pika, don, which one? Pika means it shines. Don means the sound of everything falling down. So that's what happened that day. Luckily, I was behind the wall, so apparently I didn't have the effect other people did, because they are burned and, you know, not too many of survived from the area. But I was very lucky. And so fire was already coming behind us. So, you know, we have to keep on running until where there's no fire. So we ended up in Mount Koi in Hiroshima. And I think I had to stay there for maybe 3 days because city was burning, we could come down. And his grandfather's Hiroshima, it is very, very accurate. He had written out. I was very impressed. So, but anyway, so we stayed in this mountain so we couldn't come down because of fire all over the place. And about 3 days later, one of my teachers was living there, so he said, you know, you can go home and try to go home. Hiroshima it's got 7 rivers to go across. Everywhere you want to go, you have to go across the bridge. On the bridges are down. Only place I could go home was a railroad bridge, you know, where you walk and you see the water under there. And under there was all the dead people floating away, going towards ocean, you know. Even if I have fallen, I think I had to go with, you know, dead people, I guess. But anyways, I was able to go across. The saddest part was while I was walking across, all the mothers, many mothers would stop me and said, have you seen such and such students from this high school, that high school, you know? So that was very sad. But anyways, on the way home, I had to go from one end of Hiroshima to the other end. So what I saw between was, can I use the word hell?
Yeah, you can use whatever word you want in this app.
Oh, excuse me, but it was like, you know, burning hell. And so saddest thing I've seen was little child was trying to get milk from their mother. And I think like that was very, very sad. And a lot of people coming, all the skins are dangling like this, and they keep on saying, "Gakusei-san, you know, students, please give me water." And no, I just had to keep on walking. And I felt very heartless to not be able to help anybody. But in the meantime, I had to get home as fast as I could. So finally, I got to where my homestead was, and everything was burned down. There was nothing there. So I was kind of standing there, and one of the men who used to work for us, he said, "Oh, I didn't see your mother, but I saw your grandparents in the cave in Mount Hiji. We dug air raid shelter in Seoul. I saw them, so I went to the cave and they were there. My grandfather's back was all pierced with the broken glasses, already infecting because it's summertime, August, right? And so, but anyways, he was in excruciating pain. But my mother was not there, but I did not know then that she was killed instantly, and she was under the under the building. And so anyway, I stayed in the cave for a long time, and a lot of people, they just died in the cave, and including my grandfather. So we had a Japanese soldier then, because Japan lost the war on the 15th of August. So soldiers came, and they wanted to collect all the dead people. Now, as you can imagine this, I'm only 13, I said, you're not taking my grandfather, I'm gonna burn him myself, and which I did. It took 3 days, actually. But I didn't want him to be piled up with the rest of the people. So, one can do this when you want to. You know, the courage will come to you. So, but anyways, later I found out that my mother was killed instantly, and that we recognized her. She was under the building. She was bent over like this, but we could find her part of the wallet. So I knew it was she, and a part of her clothing. But anyways, so that's what it was. But anyways, I'm so glad that, luckily I didn't drink any water. And I guess that water was contaminated too.
Yeah, a lot of
Right.
people died after the bomb
right?
from the water and the food
But
even.
I did not have that, so. Yeah, so that was my experience over that day. And so I lived in a cave, and a lot of people died, so I ended up being in there by myself in a dark cave. And in the meantime, Japan had a surrender, 15th of August. And, but anyways, that was my experience, so.
One of when you first sort of felt a sense of like hope or coming out of that moment, when was that first experience, and what was it that kind of gave you a sense of resilience or hope after that moment?
Oh, well, to answer very briefly,
Yeah,
I think you just kind of comes to you,
yeah,
then you just think you have to do it.
yeah.
So,
As a teenager, it was pretty quickly you felt
Yes.
like you had to find
yes,
something.
but what I wanted to convey to everybody is that morning I left the house. I always talk
Yeah.
about this everywhere. I kind of talk back to my mother. You know how it is when you're 13? You know everything. Your parents, they don't know anything, right? So I talked back to my mother, and I slammed the door, bang, like this, and I left.
Yeah.
Never knowing that would be my last time I'll see her. So I just have to say to everybody, when you leave home, please hug and tell them you love them, because one never knows, it might be your last time to see that person. And that's what I always, that message I convey
Yeah.
to people. So, but
Yes.
anyways, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you. It's such a special treat. I guess, does anyone want to ask any
Yes,
questions
you can.
or to?
You can ask me
So,
anything you
Yvonne,
like.
yeah.
So, when was it that you were able to come to the United States? How was it that you transitioned
Oh,
to?
I was very, very lucky. After war was over, I had a pen pal, and whom I used to communicate with the people from Wisconsin, and they helped me through their church for me to come, and I was able to go to college too.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have been meeting so many nice people everywhere I go. today especially too. Thank you.
Yeah, Tomiko also taught at Vassar College and helped start the Japanese language department at Vassar College, where I went to school. And so we have a connection through that as well.
Oh, yes.
Did you
And
meet
he
there?
graduated in
No,
99, correct?
Yeah, I graduated in 1999 from Vassar. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that for me, like a lot of the joy that you bring into every day and that sort of light, I think that that's something that has inspired me through our meeting each other. And so I kind of, that's a part of your being, is that lightness. And how do you go out into the world with that light, and what are you trying to, to share?
I just like to treat other people as I like to be treated myself.
Yeah.
So that's about it. I don't do anything special. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Was the air, you never got sick from the air in Hiroshima?
I'm glad you asked me that. Yes, I became sick, and it was something to do with my blood. So in the meantime, after the war ended, Americans moved in Hiroshima, and they set up the clinic. So I walked over there, and and they gave me some kind of pills. It could have been aspirin, I don't know. But anyways, after that, I became all right. So I was very lucky. Yeah, so the other day I was at the Williams College
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
and a professor who had invited me, his father was the first one who went to Hiroshima to the clinic
Wow.
as a doctor.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a small world.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
My Ecuador.
So healthy.
and in your work, I know that you're in the peace work, and that you've had friends around here in the peace work. What do you think are the best ways to sort of share this type of nuclear-free world talk or peace talk? How do you feel that that's best shared?
Well, a lot of people who are exposed to atomic bomb, they don't like to talk about it. And I didn't either for a long time, but then again, I thought that this is something that people should know, so that won't be repeated. And that's why, I talk different places,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy to have met so many nice people like yourselves in different occasions. Thank you.
And what do you think we can do to make a nuclear-free world or a more peaceful world, or what is your ambition with
I am just a little person. I'm nothing, no, I'm a politician, but I just, I really don't know how to do it, but I think like the video you are showing,
Yeah.
something like this, I think it's gonna help people never to repeat.
To see the actual objects of the
Yes,
place
I
and
think
the
that.
time. Yeah, I think it was for my grandfather when he revisited Hiroshima 39 years after first visiting, just 7-8 months after the bomb. When he returned, he said that it was really thanks to the survivors telling their story, like you're telling now, that people have not dropped another atomic bomb. And I think that as we look forward, trying to understand how to keep that, I think we have a little window of opportunity to sort of abolish nuclear weapons in this time. And I've had survivors tell me it's not the bomb, it's war. And so I think trying to understand what we can do as people to make a more peaceful world, and with the opportunity of nuclear abolishment being maybe the first chance we've had in ever to abolish nuclear weapons, I feel like we have a window of opportunity. So I feel like we must do all of our part to tell your
Of
story,
course.
because I think your story is part of that. So.
Well, I was I getting electrocuted? No?
But we could plug you in if you want.
No, I feel though that if nuclear weapon is not abolished, I think we're going to destroy ourselves, all of us. And I'm sure the people, I think they know that. And we have to let politicians know that.
one mistake. It seems like the chance of a mistake is the biggest problem that would probably start a nuclear catastrophe. So
Or stupidity.
stupidity is a mistake is going to be the thing. So I think that's it has to
Everything
be.
okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was.
So,
Yeah.
I have a question. So Steven Spielberg shot for over 15 years, all the part of the Shoah Foundation, all the survivors from the Holocaust as he could find them. Has they been doing that with the survivors from that? Is there, or I'm missing it, you've been doing this for the last 40 years?
I think the Taku knows very well from a media angle,
Oh,
who
right.
has been telling the story and how well documented it is better than anybody I know. I mean, Taku, where does the survivor story live? Is it?
For over 74 years now, people trying, but there is no systemic recording of everybody. Actually, that's what me and Canon is talking about. There are colleagues in Japan. If government is not doing this or any big foundation is not doing that, maybe we should start doing it. There are many schools, there are many independent, private private gatherings like this are doing that. So there are thousands of testimony already recorded, but not really organized. Memorial Museum, Hiroshima Peace Memorial, are doing the best job. They have probably 500 testimonies recorded and archived, and they can listen to it every time you visit. So that's the best archive, but that's only a fraction of it. Chugoku Shimbun, which is a major newspaper in Hiroshima, they've been doing for 50 years. They've been doing a project by young journalists to listen to and interview those survivors. One of the issue we face, as Tomiko-san did, not in the scale of she did, but that me and Canon has been doing this project, and I've been doing this sort of work, listening to survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki since 1994. And I probably interviewed over 200 people of their stories. And it's only a fraction, because only a fraction of people are talking. Like 99.99% of people, they can't talk. Isn't it true, Tomiko-san, that many people cannot talk or don't want to talk? And I think that's a big traumatic experience. And when I talk to those survivors, some of them speak for the first time. Like Canon and I were doing film, and he was interviewing someone who knew of the people who John Hersey, his grandfather, interviewed. But this lady, Yuko-san, started talk about her own experience. Opened up to Canon for the first time in 70 years. That she never talked about that, her experience in public.
Yeah, it's her first time to tell her story.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of.
I know. I mean, my parents are Holocaust survivors, so I know that it sits in that same terror in their hearts. But I think that's when Steven started filming everybody, it really it brought up everyone who else wanted to share the stories and be part of it, and know that they're not living in that nightmare of horror alone.
They made interactive now where you can talk to the survivor of the Holocaust and it will answer you. And they made, through the Shoah Foundation.
I know.
They made an interactive survivor, or a series of them that actually answer you. And it's really, but I think that Hiroshima Museum, the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum, has done an incredible job over the last 3 to 5 years changing and growing and adapting their museum. And I hope that it will become more of a digital asset or out there in the world more. But we did a high resolution 3D scans of objects that survived the atomic bomb, so that schools can print them in their own school and show someone
Right,
an
the way they
object
do in the
they can
Holocaust
associate.
Museum.
Something more out there into the schools, and something that allows people to get very close to the objects without having to visit. But that museum is the most visited museum in Japan right
Really?
now. And they've been raising a lot of revenue through ticket sales, so they've been reinvesting that into all new museums and installations. It's really powerful.
So I think the key is for people to understand there is connection with story like Tomiko-san's story, Holocaust
Oh,
survivor story.
totally, story.
People are not, I think in general, people are not convinced that I have to listen to these stories. But it's so important to learn from history. But now is the time of forgetting history, or not teaching history these days. So what we're trying to do, me and Karen and many others doing this project together, is to find the meaning in these stories. Meaning to you. What means to you? I think education, in large sense, in Japan, failed that the people are not teaching, first of all, and people are not teaching about the meaning, what this story means to you who lived in 1990s, 2000.
I mean, people are manipulating history, and they are trying to